Good afternoon or good morning to my US listeners. So what's cracking, what's going to be happening today? Well, of course, the first thing to consider is what's already happened. The Bank of Japan have spoken and released their statements this morning. Basically, they're continuing with a very soft stance and not really made any difference and really disappointed the markets, as we'll see when we look at the yen in a moment. But aside of that, the dollar's been selling largely across against the majors for most of the morning. Coming into play now, we're starting to see what potentially could be a big reversal. I am scratching my head when we're looking at these markets as we see the euro continuing to push up and the US dollar coming off, particularly when we're seeing the data that's coming out. It's been pretty negative on the European side of things. Most numbers are coming in below expectation, and the US data is all coming in above expectation and positive. So on that basis, you would expect to see the US dollar strengthening further. Well, we'll talk about rates in a moment, but let's just look at where we are today then. So Tuesday the 31st here. We've already seen the Japanese data out there this afternoon or morning US time. We just seeing the consumer confidence coming out at 2 p.m. my time. 9:45 we got New Zealand dollar out this evening, so a little bit after US close. Right, so most important though is the news tomorrow. We've got earlier than normal because of the timing difference for the UK members, but we've got the Fed funds rate there coming out and statements, and in particularly conference. Now a lot won't be hanging on that. It's expected that rates will be left alone, untouched, but that's really affecting the markets at the moment. We've been seeing the dollar being sold for whatever reason. When you look at, as I say, look at the fundamentals, you've got to scratch your head to why it's being sold relatively, but that's where we are at the moment. I was looking at the CME data here. There's a 98% chance of rates staying as they are tomorrow. I think the more important thing is how things move into December. Technically then, let's look at the markets. Euro dollar, well, we've seen a surge up this morning. It's still in this ascending channel at the moment. It did look like it could push on for more. We'll see how things develop there, but looking at it technically on the shorter time frame now, we're seeing this sort of reversal. Last 4-hourly bar in there, shooting star. You look at the hourlies, it's reacted off its daily R2 there, and it's reacting, and to me it just looks like it's going to be coming back at least to the medium where we were sitting before, and maybe falling off some more. So the dollar looking strong. Now the dollar's looking strong across the board here. We're looking at the pound dollar here. The pound's still relatively weak anyway. It's not managed to do quite as well as the euro had this morning. And well, at the moment, again, setting up for more selling by looks of things. It had gone into its daily R1 there, but coming off as I look at the video at the moment. Okay, looking at the US dollar yen, you just see the weakness, the disappointment in this market. This big green line across the top there is the previous highs. Well, it looks like we're heading for that. Now we've had some ridiculous they look quite small here, but they're enough to stop traders out. These spiky price action, and we saw yesterday it coming off quite strong at one stage on the basis of news releases, and not actually on anything coming from the Bank of Japan itself. Well, you just see it's just been totally ignored. And this morning, well, it's still pushing up. The stronger dollar this afternoon could see this pushing up towards those pretty previous highs there, and maybe beyond. Aussie dollar, well, the Aussie was doing okay. It's in a real chop on the dailies here. It's selling back into its trend at this stage. It's more in a channel, really, a sideward channel that it's largely riding in, and well, it sandwiched itself. It looks pretty bearish for the rest of this current session. I'm just looking shorter time frames. Well, this actually break of the earlier morning lows there would give us a lower high, and as I say, suggest further downside. We could even see it whipping down to its daily S2, looking soft. US dollar CAD. The Canadian dollar's largely remained bearish. Yesterday, it pulled something back, but the US dollar being by far the strongest, it's pushing back up again now. It had the morning movement. It's now in the afternoon movement in terms of the UK session, and it's pushing back up there again at this stage. Hi, David. I will look at your New Zealand dollar for you in just a second. New Zealand dollar, I'll look at the New Zealand dollar yen in just a second. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, well, we're seeing, I'm bearish on the New Zealand dollar. The big money, sentiment of the big money is bearish. I expect it to push down. Any of these technical retracements are really priming for further downside, as I can see. I think we'll just well, it's coming already. It's starting to make the move, but this was a sort of line in the sand I drawn yesterday, just below its monthly pivot. Below that point, looking for it to run off towards the monthly pivot, weekly pivot down to its S1. Okay, dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, we've seen this retracement in the dollar Swiss, and I was looking at it this morning saying, well, actually it could be, I mean, at the end of the day it's just a bare flag and the dollar could slide over some more. But when you're looking at it now, the difference a few hours makes. There's that last 4 hourly bar, and it's cheered it up somewhat, and well, we'll see what comes of this. We are running into a double top area here. Of course, if it breaks the lows between those two tops, it's given us a more of a bearish signal. At the moment, I think the dollar's got it, but as I say, we have just run into that top. It might stall things. New Zealand dollar yen. It's not a pair I trade personally, but let's just check I've got the right pair for you there. New Zealand dollar yen, you was asking. Yep. Okay, so New Zealand dollar yen, it's been, I mean, I'm looking at this on a daily perspective, from a daily perspective, and it's been really ugly. You're looking at two of the weakest pairings effectively out there in the longer term frame. The New Zealand dollar's been sold against most of its most other pairs. The yen's been sold, and well, they're not going anywhere between the two of them really. There is the potential on the shorter time frames. It's given us a higher low. Perhaps structurally the New Zealand dollar might do a little bit better with this softer yen news. Looking at it from an hourly picture, it's looking all good for the New Zealand dollar, but it might just hold its own. But as I said, the New Zealand dollar in generally is really getting a hard old time. The bigger picture here, well, we could be turning back around a little bit there, but it's not, as I say, not a pair I would particularly want to trade. He's trading against the weakest effectively, the two weakest currencies. I'd much rather be on the side of something that's a bit stronger and something weaker to get more movement. The trouble with this, yes, we've had the move over this last few hours, but that can soon give itself back up, and we can end up back into a horrible chop. Right, other markets, just looking at it briefly then. Euro yen is something I normally trade quite a bit. This has taken out its previous highs now. It's run into its monthly R3 area, actually just short of. It's really pushed on here. It's been sitting there promising to go, and it's eventually gone. Now if you look at the retail market and look at the retail traders, and they've been bearish this all the time. I keep on saying it's a market that you shouldn't be. Why should we be looking for shorts in a market that's going up effectively? And okay, it did come off a little bit, but largely it's pushing up. The risk is always to the upside. It's just consolidated there, and now managed a decent push. Okay, it might be done for the day, but I was just looking at a lot of these markets. pulling back. The euro is just softening it, as I said earlier. Other pairs, I was looking at the euro CAD this morning. It went up and hit the target I was looking for, but I was not in the trade, which doesn't help me too much. In fact, it went on beyond its R1 here. I was just looking for a move, but it went too early for me. 7 o'clock UK time is just too early to be trusting the moves, but in this particular case, well, that was that. Caught it yesterday at 9 o'clock, but not today. This is where the cookie crumbles. I'm still on the longer term frame liking this. Now, talking about the longer time frame, the pound Aussie is something that I've been sitting here waiting patiently for, just looking at it from a different view here, using a Heikin-Ashi, an averaging candle bar here, and it just averages things out, makes things easier to see sometimes, and it's in this big bear flag. If you look at it in the bigger picture, some of you will see the shoulder to the left there, the head and the shoulder that's developing here to the right. Just waiting for a break of these previous lows, but got my alert set up there ready to go. I may just put a sell stop in there, but at the moment it's very slow and it's gone into a bit of a consolidation phase. We see this, these consolidation phases, and then they're followed by some decent moves. As I said, this just looks like it's got some half decent potential. Okay, so that's more of a day or position stroke swing trade there, potential. Looking at the other markets going across to, so looking at the US markets here, S&Ps, the minis. Again, you can see how I was just about to change back to a normal chart here. You can just see how lovely this has been tipping over. But anyway, let's look at it from a daily point of view. Yes, it's the same-ish picture running up there. We've been seeing a rally yesterday came into play here. I'm looking at this and I'm very much bearish at the moment. Big money switching around a little bit and getting a little bit more bullish with it, but technically at the moment it's I think a break. Now I'm looking at my figures and my chart here. I'm looking at a break of about 41.44. It's that low there from, well, low from about the 6 o'clock bar that I'm seeing on here. A break of that would really give me a bit more confirmation of the downside. The Dow Jones, similar-ish picture. It's coming off at the moment. Looking at a 4-hourly chart here again on this time frame. I'm looking at the break of those lows, so there's some scope on them. Nasdaq has held up a little bit better, but the three markets are looking very, very similar. In fact, I say it's held up this morning. It's held up a little bit better, but overall, it never got up so far in terms of the picture. Okay, a couple other things. Gold. So gold running pretty sideways here in the short term, but you can see the general trend is up. I'm bullish on it. There's still more potential of this pushing further. It's had a bit of a sell-off in the previous bar, etc., but it's just consolidating. It's been there for a little bit of time. Big money going back into it. Looking at the commitment traders report, and seeing the money going back into gold quite solidly with the risk events across in Israel, etc. It does put the pressure on looking for safe avenues, and this could well be one of them, along with the US dollar in my book. Okay, oil. Now this isn't running quite so safely. It's looking like we could see a breakdown. I'm sort of looking this afternoon to see if we get a break of these lows here. Give it another 45 minutes or so and see if we can get a breakdown. So I'm just waiting to see if that happens this afternoon. Looking really for the daily S1 on the shorter time frame here. So looking down again. I can't quote prices because all different brokers are giving you slightly different prices on this, as far as they refer to it as Western Texas. They put that element in there, but they don't want to pay for the feed, so we just end up with a feed. Anyway, looking at a break of the lows there down towards the S1. Okay, that's pretty much it for this quick review. Hope you found it useful. If you do, give us a thumbs up, and if you want more of them, subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.